I mean, as we know, Israel did not take kindly to that initial attack. They didn't. Immediately, they said, this is a declaration of war, and we're going to war, and we are going to eradicate Hamas. We are going to take them off the face of this planet. In the first 6 days, Israel dropped something like 6,000 bombs, 6,000 in the first 6 days in their war against Gaza. To date, there's been more than 11,000 Palestinians that have been killed, many of which are innocent women and children. I don't know, because I am not sitting in Israel. I did not lose my family members. And to your point, is it right that they think, you know what, enough's enough? You will never have the opportunity to do this to me again. Or are there just rules of war that they're breaking? And just as human beings, you know what? You guys, there is a small section of you guys who popped off at us. We have to find a more intelligent way to eradicate you without destroying and taking the lives of innocent civilians that had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
We did it in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Challenge.
We did it in Iraq and Afghanistan. And you would think that after 22, 25 years of doing that, exact same thing, that someone would have had enough time to take a look at it and learn lessons from it. But like I said, if that's the way that war should be fought, then no one should really care. It's just war. It's just war. Hey, this is the devil's playground. That's all Earth is. I mean, it's just the devil's playground. So we got to accept it for what it is. War has to be one way. And if it can't be one way, maybe we shouldn't have it at all, And I'm not going to say it's impossible not to have war, but
it's impossible. It's impossible. I mean, since the beginning, I don't know if God just created us as human beings. We're always going to be fighting, even in the Bible.
Yeah. Cain and Abel.
Wars, Yeah.
It's always going to happen. I think it's just the nature we're in, We got to have a choice some type of way. If there were no evil, then we wouldn't have any choice to even be evil. So in order to prove and pass this big test of life, we got to be presented two great spectrums of, this reality, extreme right and extreme wrong. And we choose for some odd reason to, take the lower self and choose violence. There's a time and a place for it. It's a time and season for everything. And there is a time and a season for war, I believe. But maybe how we go about it, or I don't even know. Like, what are we fighting for at this point? If it's a biblical thing or about, biblical times, I don't know. I don't know enough about the Quran or anything like that to make a statement, but I don't understand why. I don't know. I've always found it weird, the infatuation we have with Israel as Americans. They have a really good military. They have a lot of money, and we taxpayers also give them a lot of money, and we give them a lot of, missiles and rockets. Every person who, we all pay taxes here in America. We all contribute to those lives being lost too. We can't just completely wipe our hands from it. We pay for those bombs too. But I don't know what they're necessarily fighting for, but I don't even know why we support them so wholeheartedly. If it's because of a Christian nation or whatnot.
That's where I wanted to go with you. Like, quite honestly, October 7th, Hamas waged war.
Mm-hmm.
Our President Biden came out, I want to say 2, 3 days later, and I want to read a quote from him. So in this moment, we must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. And we will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack. There is no justification for terrorism. There is no excuse. Initially, Biden was applauded
Mm-hmm.
by the American citizens, by many of the American citizens. He has since come under a lot of scrutiny for those statements because he has taken this stand that we are standing with Israel no matter what. And like I mentioned earlier in the conversation, over 11,000 people have been killed. I mean, even some of the biggest and brightest in Hollywood, many of which are Israelis or are Jewish, people like Chris Pine, Jerry Seinfeld, Gal Gadot, Channing Tatum,
The Wonder Woman.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
Wonder Woman, my girlfriend.
They signed a letter. Yep.
My girlfriend, the Wonder Woman, she's over there fighting, or went over there, yeah. She's my girlfriend. She just doesn't know me yet.
They signed a letter to President Biden calling for him to call a ceasefire or urging him to call a ceasefire.
Mm-hmm.
So what started off, hey, you know what? We support you unequivocally, has now turned into many people like, look, enough's enough. We got to find a better way to do this and support them.
I don't think they're wrong for believing that. I mean, what's wrong with finding a different way? I mean, what's wrong with evolving and finding a different way to solve whatever the issue is? And like I don't know why we're so invested in it. Like that whole statement, it's just like three things in there that is, like I say, it's just weird that if we're always against terrorism, we're always against it, then all the genocide and stuff that happens in these other countries, mainly in, Africa, mass genocide, we never intervene with that. Or North Korea, the things that happen, we never intervene. We're picky and choosy. I don't know if it's because of some biblical thing that America believes that Israel is, but Israel's not a Christian nation, but they're Jewish. I have nothing against anyone. Like that's the 42 laws of Ma'at. I respect everybody's what you believe in. I think all roads lead to Rome anyways, but to be able to fight about it and why we support them, I honestly don't know. If it's because we think that it's some biblical, we read it in the Bible, so we have to stand with them. I don't believe that to be true. I think that it's the state of Israel and the biblical Israel are two different things. One had to follow a law specifically given to them by Moses, and the other ones don't even necessarily believe in Yeshua or Jesus or believe in the second coming or whatnot. So it's a two different states at play. The Israel today, and was it 1948 or whatever it was, it became a state. It's different from the biblical Israel. I think that the average civilian may get that misinterpretation, and I think that's why we blindly support these wars and countries that, I don't know. I think that's why maybe as a Christian nation in America, maybe that's why we support, or we believe that we always have to support Israel, because it was mentioned in the Bible, even though it's two distinctly different things. But what they're fighting for, maybe we should let them just hash it out. Do I think we should get involved? I don't think we should. America has been involved in war since its inception. And when we can't find a war, we'll fight ourselves. We'll have a civil war. That's what this nation was really built on. It was built on war and violence. It only makes sense we would continue to keep on the legacy, right? There hasn't been a period of time we hadn't had a period of peace. As soon as we got out of Afghanistan, we were right over in, I forget That's how much we hop around. Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Pakistan. Keep going. The list keeps going. Yemen. It's all over the place. We can't keep our nose out of a war.
Well said, well said, well said. I don't think anybody would disagree with you on that.